Here goes. All right. So I'm learning. I'm learning via YouTube.
Wow. How was that? How did it make you feel playing the flute?
I feel this silence inside, I mean, when I picked up the flute a few years ago, it was because I was doing this and I was doing that and I was doing many things. And I didn't have feedback loop, about how do I know if I've gone off? And so the flute does that, right? One split hair up and down and there's no sound, right? So when I'm playing, I know that it is in perfect balance. Otherwise, I will know. So it's just beautiful.
I was just observing you very carefully, and the left fingers of the left hand were almost constant. They were stuck. For a very rare moment did the ring finger and the little finger move up. But the right hand fingers kept moving.
Mm-hmm.
So the press and the release leading to the sound. It just works out so beautifully in our life as well, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
The moment we hit the pedal and the moment we release. You hit throttle, you suddenly hit the brake with just those movements.
Yeah. I mean, now that I think about it, the notes is this breath which is folded through this, punctuated at different points. Yeah.
Interesting, very interesting. So how have you been here, Rhea? Long time.
How have I been? Oh, I've been like this, my rose creeper, actually. Yeah. I mean, initially, like, there was this lot of sun, then it moved again. Then there are some days when it is looking to hold on to something. The other days it takes on its own path, just goes off somewhere. And then meets some other plants. And then some days there are just these beautiful roses as they're there right now. Some days there is nothing. Yeah, that's how I've been, like, in the last, at least, the last year, I guess, has been.
It's so interesting, right? When you normally ask people, how are you? The answers are just so impromptu. Yeah, I'm fine. Life is good. Managing, one day at a time. You get to hear so many of those. But you started with a beautiful pause. In that pause, in that moment of silence, were you thinking, did an answer come your way? Were you articulating? I know you're not someone who really likes anything scripted. You're far from scripted. So what was that pause all about?
I was checking in, really, and then waiting for whatever needs to come out, come out. I was meandering, but I wasn't lost. Uh, it went here and there, and I was. So I didn't know the answer till I spoke it. So yeah. So you asked me how I've been, and I was there in how I've been.
And you just let it surface.
Yeah. I think that's the way to put it. Yeah, I just let it surface.
Interesting. So obviously, Rhea, COVID has played out very, very differently for different people. And as I have conversations with a lot of friends, they've told me a lot of stories of how COVID has played out for them. Some lost some near and dear ones. Some contracted COVID, came out successful. Some really got disturbed in the manner in which the country dealt with a pandemic like this. What did COVID really mean, or what does COVID mean to you, Rhea? And has it manifested itself in your life in any other way?
Well, I don't think it has not manifested for anybody, any living being, living and non-living, right? But it wasn't easy, and yet it is. I think it will go down in my own personal history as the year when I was at my peak, and in my highest peak, in my deepest valley. I have experienced grief like I've never experienced before. And so much that I didn't know which one belonged to me, which one did not belong to me. And it coursed through me a lot. It brought out, for me, it was like, how do I put it? Like living Vipassana on a moment to moment basis. It was just silence. And nobody to talk. I was by myself for this at least a couple of months, 2-3 months.
Your rose creeper?
Yes, and my rose creeper, and my birds, and my crows. And there was a monkey also. For a few days, I had this monkey that would come. And of course, the kite. So I did a lot of cleaning, like everybody else. But I was like, I don't know what it was, right? Cleaning was like praying for me. When I was cleaning, I was praying. Just like when I'm praying, I'm cleaning. So there was that. And just this, I did a lot of creative stuff. I don't think that's the right way to put it. I didn't do creative stuff. Creativity just happened because I needed to have all of this sort of move somewhere, right? The pain, grief, they got composted in a way, right? Otherwise, they could have gotten wasted.
Right.
But it has gone as compost to grow the plants, to grow the creative things. And I did this, I am in the surrender experiment, which I think is the coolest thing. I happened.
You call it the surrender experiment.
The surrender experiment. Well, this is, right pretty much the time that lockdown started. This book by Michael Singer, actually it's over here. This literally fell from my bookshelf and it fell twice, right? So I was like, it must mean something. So I sat and I hadn't read the book. I had the book for a while, but I hadn't read it. And then in 2 days straight, I just finished reading it. And it is about Michael Singer's his surrender experiments. And I thought, why not I also do it? Why not I do a year of me to me practice of surrender to whatever comes, however it comes, especially if I have resistance to it. Right. So I entered the resistance, Jedi style, you know. So it has it has challenged me in ways that nothing has. This surrender, you know, it's like when I would do my morning pages and I would write a thought, and I was like, oh my god, am I supposed to do this, and how am I going to do it? But then that decision had already taken, right? Then that was just implementation. And then I really didn't know. I was like, I am continue to be in this sort of free fall, right? And something I think we all learned in physics, basic physics in school, right? In a free fall, matter loses its property, right? A big ball and a small ball fall at the same time. So matter doesn't matter in free fall. Like I could be anything and nothing. So that I had, for the long periods of time, I had that experience, right? Like, yeah, I cannot explain any other way, but yeah, I think that is one of the things that happened.
But what was this mystic connection that you had with laborers, migrant workers?
So when the migrant stuff started, it was very hard. Uh, it was hard because, you know, I, I recognize my journey as a migrant as well, right? I'm also a migrant, like many, right? So just to sit there and see, right? Like I live in this house and I have floor, and these are the things some of these people made, and they didn't have homes, right? So part of that was like really painful. It still is, right? Like we made people into commodities, right? At one point.
Yeah.
Like when their job was over, they were no longer needed. Like I think something about some basic human dignity getting treated like that, right, was extremely hurtful. And and days together, I would just call some of my friends and just cry like helplessly, like I don't know what to do and how how much othering we are doing, right? It just pains me to no end. But I didn't know what to do. Then I spoke to a few people. I couldn't step out of the house, right? It was in the thick of things, and um, called a few clients, told them about this, talked to a few people. We raised money for getting some of these people, you know, to reach their homes at least somewhere. And and um, and one day while all this was happening and I was like stuck at home, one night I woke up and went to the bathroom and my feet hurt, right? Like, and I didn't know what was going on. But anyway, but I didn't bother about it. And then when I went in the morning, I went for a shower, like my feet literally burned. And I was wondering what happened because I was okay the previous night when I went off to sleep. But when I looked, my feet had blisters.
Blisters?
Yeah.
Overnight?
Yeah. And I can't understand, and I certainly can't explain. And I don't know how I got blisters, but they were there for almost like 10 days. I had to put Jhadpula, which is very good for blisters and other things. But I can't explain, right? Like, and I cannot ignore, because this was like, this is real. And I called a friend. I called this friend Biren in the night. I was like, I don't know what is happening, right? And he told me, and he said, "Tum ointment lagao." I was like, yeah, I think that's the most practical thing to do. So, yeah.
Wow, that's just so deep. A thought manifests itself, leads to more thoughts. You go to sleep with some amount of pain in your legs. You go nowhere else. You're on the bed. You get up in the morning and you have blisters. Pain manifesting itself or finding an outlet.
Yeah. So I guess I also worked in some other realm, in some another universe with the migrants.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, no, Sahil, like that there is another somebody that is not me. That notion, that divide, yeah, like that's my biggest sort of pain. Not migrant is one where it came to fore that there is this thing. Otherwise it keeps happening, right? Like divisions between whatever, educational divide, like I'm like this, somebody else is like that. I live here and somebody else lives there. I don't know, like just these divides, like every time that happens, it feels like there's a line which goes through my heart.
Building bridges.
Yeah,
You
I
connect
think,
the dots
yeah,
through those lines.
yeah, I think that is my, a few years ago when I started Kabila, it was really from this pain of how isolated we are, because you don't want to connect with people, right? Like, think they are this, they are that, I'm this, I'm that, whatever. And only recently I've begun to see that possibly my role in this life is to be a bridge, you know. And I don't think, I mean, I've long since given to that notion that I don't think we have, purpose is overrated. Um, no, really. No, I feel it.
The whole world is the whole world is saying purpose, purpose, purpose. Important, crucial. Find your purpose. Go within.
Yeah.
Rhea comes and says it's overrated.
No, look, I mean, it is a great preoccupation to not do what you need to do. That what are you doing? I'm searching for my purpose, right? But to think
Say that
like,
again. Say that again. Say that again.
I'm saying it can be a
Great.
very self importance giving preoccupation, so that you don't do the stuff that you need to do on an everyday basis, right?
In the quest of finding your purpose.
Yeah, in the quest, right? So something is fundamentally incorrect about perceiving that I have to find the purpose. So there are two things in that, right? One, that the purpose is something outside somewhere, which someday I have to find it, like I have to go looking for it, and that I have to find it, right? Now, if I didn't know what is my purpose, how will I recognize it even when I found it? How will I know that this is purpose? Like, if this glass was my purpose and I don't know it, then how will I recognize it as my purpose? If I do recognize it as purpose, that means I already found it.
Correct.
Right?
So simple.
It is like such a simple, it's like beyond simplistic logic, right? So anyway, so therefore, what does that mean then? That that I don't think, if there was something like purpose, hypothetically, yeah, Like why everybody was made, this big thing about why this rose was made, why you were made, whoever, like universe made it. Do you think universe would leave something as important as purpose to the people
To figure out themselves.
to find out? No, I don't think so. So my hypothesis, and I put my life through it, is that we've all long living our purpose. We've just not seen it. It's a matter of discovery, not finding, right? And the red thread has always been running. It has guided my choices of what I did or didn't do, books I read and didn't read, people I hung out with or didn't. If I look back, I have been living that. That thing that I've been living is my purpose. It's not something out there, but that totally puts me in a very different spot, right? Because I mean, I've working with some of these not-for-profits, etc. in my life. I've seen that great purpose, but there are two people with the same purpose, but they'll not work together. So clearly, purpose is not the thing, right? Because if they were serving the purpose, then they would serve the purpose, not themselves, their team,
or their egos and all of that. Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I mean, it's just logic, right? You look at people working with children. There are hundreds of organizations, but why can't my thing is, why can't you just come together? You just have, it just makes more sense if you are serving that purpose. That's what I'm saying.
And you collaborate. Then you don't say I have different agendas, and you collaborate because the purpose is common, simple. Yeah.
Exactly. And it is okay. You can say, I don't want to, and I want, and my purpose is to grow my organization. That's also okay. But to not look at your own life and saying, this is what has been happening, right? And like, I'll give you my example. Forget, I'm not talking hypothetical, right? So when I started doing my journey from this, right, like I already am living my purpose. I just want to find out from the pattern in my own life, right? So so when I was like 4, I saw my first movie. Okay, my parents took me, obviously, and the movie was Mother India. Okay. When I was 7 and I was in class 2, we in our school we start a library for the first time. Like you can select your own book. By that time, you would read books that people got for you. So I still remember we got into this line, the teacher's table, the books were kept, and one by one you had to go look at them, pick it up, write your name. I went there from all this book. I picked up this one book which had like one big orange sun or sun-like thing. I didn't know what it was, but I liked the sun. The book was called My Land of Gold, Bengal's Freedom Struggle, right? And so on and so forth, right? So the choices which happened through me have all led me to be the person I am. I'm not devoid of my circumstantial things. So yeah, anyway, so that's what I believe. Like, purpose has already found you. You just, it's like you order something from Amazon and then go out and they come and deliver, but you're not at home. You're out looking for that thing.
Correct.
So anyway, that's what I believe.
Lovely, Rhea. Very, very nice conversation. I really enjoyed myself sharing this space with you.
Me too. Yeah. You made me think of some of the things I haven't thought of and share the things I didn't think I would share. Yeah.
Are you feeling better now? I saw you crying. I was feeling so bad that I was far away over a Zoom call. I didn't have a chance to offer you that tissue box.
No.
But I think you have it right there with you. I know. But are you doing better?
Yeah. I mean, yes. I think tears are beautiful. I used to not think like that in my 20s. But if only we could do everything and experience everything to the point of tears.
It completes the whole circle.
Yeah. There are times when I cry when I look at pigeons. They're just so beautiful. Some days they are just majestic. So yeah. Thank you for your concern, and I receive it.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye.